Hi guys, so this video will mainly be a response to Daniel J. Layton's brilliant video about the recent Oscars backlash and hate that La La Land seems to be getting, but I'd also just like to throw in my own thoughts on the matter too. Something that has been baffling me for about a year now, probably longer, is how people think that it's suddenly just really cool to be a part of a group that hates something, or to just hate so many things at once. We've become a very cynical society. And this recent example of this that I saw was too with La La Land. On the night of the Oscars, I saw so many tweets of people just so aggressively hating on La La Land when they didn't necessarily have great reasons. They may just have not liked the film, which is absolutely fine. But I just don't feel like it's fair to bash and hate on something so much when people have put so much work and effort into it also. A reason that I saw a lot of people disliking the movie was because Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone and a lot of the cast and crew were white. And while I completely understand if you get upset that there's underrepresentation in it, I just don't feel like that's a fair enough reason to hate the movie so much. However, I think Moonlight was a phenomenal film, and I'm so glad that it won because it's such an important film for black youth and for black LGBT youth growing up in areas where that may not be fully accepted. And I cannot stress how happy I am that it won, and I'm so sorry that their win will completely be overshadowed by the mess up at the Oscars for the rest of time. Daniel said it brilliantly in his film when he was describing Moonlight, and he described it as a film that's about humans and human experience, and I honestly could not agree more. It's such a simple concept for a film, but it affected so many people in such a wonderful way, and I again cannot stress how happy I am that it won. But I don't feel like you should bash on any other film more because you liked that film more. You can absolutely like it more, and you can love it, and you can hate the other film, but to be so aggressive about it online and to the people who have worked so hard on it is so unfair, and it's completely demeaning what film does for a community. It's supposed to bring everyone together. He has, funnily enough, become the guy who hates La La Land just because he has criticisms of it. When I feel like that's when people get confused with the two. Like, you can absolutely adore something, but you can still think that they could have done some things better. I think that with La La Land. I think that with my favourite films, because to be able to critique something and to be able to see flaws and see differences is just seeing the film as what it is and seeing that it's not necessarily perfect, but you can still appreciate it and you can still adore it. So I feel like people often get criticism and hatred mixed up when they are completely different things. People have begun to think that being a part of a smaller group that maybe doesn't like something that's really popular in the mainstream medium makes them seem more cool or different or out there and sets them apart from the crowd, when really all it does is just spread negativity into the world. Like, for example, I absolutely adore Hamilton. But I have a friend who, whenever I mention it, she just tells me to shut up and that she doesn't care and that she's so sick of hearing about it and that it's bad and it's this or that. And it makes the person who loves that thing start to feel bad about liking it. It kind of turns them off it because they're like, okay, well then there must be something wrong with me if I love that so much but no one else does. You feel guilty almost for liking it and for loving it so much. Like, even with the example that I used earlier about how La La Land is a predominantly white cast, there's times where I often feel guilty if I say that I preferred it more than Moonlight, which I did, but that's not the reason. I preferred it because I love musicals more and I love that era that they're trying to hold on to and pay homage to. Moonlight was absolutely phenomenal, but I just didn't have the exact same emotional response to it. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna go bash on Moonlight. I still think it's such an important piece of film. I'll celebrate and respect and take pride in the fact that these people have put so much work into this, and not just completely shut it down because it might not be something that suits your particular taste. What I'm trying to say is film is something that should be universally celebrated and respected and enjoyed by so many people. Film is the glue that holds a community together more often than not. I've made so many friends through loving different types of films. Me and my family have movie nights. It's what keeps us going. It's one of the most important art mediums out there. And I think no matter what film you like or dislike, you shouldn't profusely hate it because, as I've said, these people have put their blood and sweat into these movies. And they have worked so hard on them. So no matter how much you hate or dislike something, in any kind of art medium, understand that these people have tried so hard to do something good, and we should respect that, and we should celebrate that there's so many different ideas out there and there's so much difference in the medium of film that we shouldn't just hate one thing for the sake of not liking another. You can have your own opinions, you can dislike something, you can even hate it, but that doesn't mean that you have to spread your hatred and negativity all over social media or all over the world. It doesn't do anything good. We see that with Trump. All he does is spread negativity into the world, and that's not doing anyone else any good. We should all just respect each other's opinions and appreciate how much work goes into these kind of things, especially when it's an art medium. Like, we all know that this generation especially has become such a cynical one, and we are filled with so much hatred. But we should try to see the good in everything, especially when it's to do with film or music or books or theatre or anything like that. We just need to begin to celebrate it, because these are the things that are going to keep us going. In all the bad, these are the good. As I said again, Daniel J. Layton's video is absolutely brilliant and definitely probably has more coherent thoughts than I do. I'm kind of just rambling right now. But all I'm trying to say is that you can hate something, you can dislike it, but you don't have to be an ass about it. And you can respect that other people may love that, and don't try to ruin it for them or try to like bash on it just because you may have one difference in opinion. And being a part of a group that is smaller and more of a minority that hates the type of thing doesn't make you seem different or stand out from anyone. It's just spreading negativity into the world about something that should be celebrated and that should be bringing people together, not tearing them apart.